This is Kyle Martin Paintings. Hey, welcome back to my plein air painting channel. We're out at my friend Jim Gavin's place. He's a friend of mine from years back. We used to sit in our friend Steve's garage and we used to drink a couple beers together. Check it out. He's got a beautiful, I don't know if it's an apple tree or a cherry tree, but whatever it is, it's in bloom. And it's set against one of his beautiful barns. I found my little special place in the shade here. I'm gonna get started quickly because this foreground shadow from these trees is gonna be a part of my composition. It's right down there on the ground, but it's gonna move quickly, so I wanna get that placed. I'm using a limited palette for this painting, and you can see the swatches from the limited palette clamped to the easel. So there's 5 colors: cadmium yellow light, burnt sienna, quinacridone red, phthalo blue, and ivory black. They're all gambling colors. And I mixed phthalo blue with quinacridone red to create the violet that I'm drawing on the canvas with right now. And I'm drawing using a proportional divider. Now I've just placed the lights on that illuminated flowering tree. And I did so using orange mixed with green. It kind of creates a color that's similar to Naples yellow light. So when I say orange, I mean cadmium yellow light mixed with quinacridone red. And of course, when I say green, I'm talking about phthalo blue mixed with cadmium yellow light. For the shadow side of that flowering tree, I probably used the same mixtures, orange with green, but then I added something else, maybe a little touch of ivory black and a little bit more green. Anyway, even though I'm using a limited palette, I'm not abusing the color black or white. This painting still came out very luminous, and all the colors are present when you use a limited palette. They're just not as bright or they're not as chromatic as what I normally use. And the reason that I was using a limited palette is because I was teaching a workshop in the springtime and I was having my students use a limited palette, and so I wanted to familiarize myself with that palette before I taught the workshop. It was a nice way to teach color because students could have the experience of mixing all those swatches onto their palette, and then during the painting process, they could almost use those swatches to guide their color mixtures. If you want to see the video that I sent out to my students so that they could create those swatches, just shoot me an email and I'll send you that video. Well, I've been out here for 2 hours and Jim never showed up. Don't know if he moved in or not. But I'm going to take this one home and take a look at it in the studio. during the last couple minutes of painting, sometimes it's nice to look at it in the lens of the camera, because sometimes that can help you see things that you might not normally notice. So I'm looking at it here and I'm noticing that this is kind of harsh right here, that value contrast. And so I'm just gonna maybe downplay that a little bit. You know, painting a flowering tree like this, there's some drawing issues that you have to tackle. You have to get the overall shape of the tree placed. And you saw me do that with the proportional divider. After you have the overall shape placed, then you have to go in and state the colors and values that you're seeing. So that's another step when you're painting a flowering tree. But you just paint, scrape, and repaint. It's a different subject, but it's not so different than every other subject, just because you have to observe, paint, scrape, repaint, and keep going until you have something that you like. Can you tell that I was inspired out here? I was very inspired. I'm inspired by the spring. I'm inspired by the day. I'm inspired by the sunshine. I'm inspired by the green grass. And most of all today, I was inspired by this beautiful tree that's out here. And I can see a final place where the trunk of the the trunk of this tree is kind of broken out from behind this other bush, and I just put a little more red. All right, that's it. Time to clean up. Time to go home for dinner. See what the family is up to. Thanks so much for being here. We'll get out again tomorrow.